Uma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, okay.
I have started the webinar.
Yeah.
We are going live on Facebook right now.
Okay, I cannot start my video, okay, right now.
Sana, that's fine. I'll be giving you the hosting rights, then you can.
Okay, okay, perfect.
All right. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. My name is Huma, and I'll be hosting today's webinar session. First off, I'd like to welcome all of you on behalf of DICE Analytics in this first session of the series called Analytics from Her Perspective. This webinar series is actually based on 5 sessions and will be conducted by 5 amazing women in data analytics domain. Let's talk a little about today's session, which is titled Data Analytics When Reality Strikes. We are going to dive deep into data analytics today. We'll be discussing some common myths related to analytics, data science, AI, and big data. Also, we'll discuss the data scientist's role in the local market. I'm very, very excited to announce our speaker for today's session, Ms. Sana Salman, who is having an extensive experience of 15 plus years and currently working as a managing consultant at Systems Limited. She is extremely versatile and skilled business analytics professional with strong business intelligence, analytical management, and data warehousing skills. Today, Sana is going to help us all explore analytics from her perspective. I'd like to request all of the attendees to remain interactive throughout the session to make the most out of the session. Thank you so much. Let's start the session. Over to you, Sana.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So, thank you, Uma, for a very good introduction.
No problem
Um,
at all.
and thank you, Dice, for giving me this chance to speak. It's like this topic is with me for the last 15 years, as you have mentioned. Um, so I have structured this talk not in a very, I have not prepared it like written it down or with slides. It's more of an interactive session. So I would walk you through my own journey, how I started working in this field, and how I, advanced in my career, and how and when were the some of the breaking points and some, some things, some learnings, which I think that people who are new in this career should they should be aware of, and they should keep in their minds when they are making decisions about uh, when and where to move, and how to decide to move in the analytics domain. The second part is about, as Huma mentioned, some of the learnings from applied projects in mostly in telcos and bankings and retail, and what is mainly the applied analytics over there, and how we can manage it with the deep advanced analytics that we mostly think about. And so there's a big gap, and it will be interesting to see what your viewpoint is on that. And also, I will share my own learnings. And the last part is some of the guidance on how you have some certain, the future of analytics, what it is, and how, if you are planning to move into this domain further, what are some of the practices that you can take forward. I would specifically be talking about women in analytics as well, because as a woman myself, I have seen a slightly different trajectory in terms of exposure, in terms of things that I was able to pursue, the things that I wanted to do, but how they turned out, and for better or for worse. But this is where I am right now. So I started my career back in 2003 when I graduated from ComSets, and 4 years I stayed in software engineering side, because at that time, data science or data analytics or big data was not really common. It was just kind of a magical thing. People were not really aware of what it was. So I was mostly developing applications in HTML, and so that kind of became really iterative for me, repetitive. So, developing apps. But then came a moment when I had to design a database, and all things were coming in naturally. The concept of nested databases, the concept of how to query the data, it was just like, something that really excited me. So at that point in time, I decided that it's a good decision. It's a good decision at my part that I move into the data side and starting with data analytics. So in 2007, I changed my domain, and as a Fulbright scholar, I moved to US, where there was this sound knowledge platform in Boston University that I worked with, at Worcester Polytech Institutes as well, and also with UMass, which is a biomedical center, and it has all the knowledge over there for the medical domain, in the medical domain. So it was good 1.5 year of diverse kind of experience into what knowledge discovery is all about, how to work in Vecca. At that point, it was in research, it was the tool that was used, and you know, uh, learning about structured, unstructured data, signaling data, and what to extract out of it. So, after 1.5 year of that journey, I was still in US when I from UPhone. Someone approached me, and they said that they wanted to develop their data science practice over there. So I was the first person to join UPhone, and started off as a separate function with 2 3 data scientists. And then that was back in 2009, and it was a time when data warehouse was still, it came into the market, and it was really exciting. It is interesting to see that at that time, the first churn model that we built, it took 9 months to build that model, because data was not in that shape or size, and people were not really ready to accept what data science is. So moving on, fast forward, Uphone was a very good starting point, very good, learning platform, where moved from Teradata warehouses, warehouse miner, which is a software for data science in Teradata, and then moved to KXZN, which is now known as SAP Infinite Insights. And Then moving on to Unica, IBM, and IBM Watson. So these were some of the tools that we've used in UPhone to build data science, moving from very small analytics to selling advanced solutions like, as I mentioned, churn prediction, then behavior segmentation, then product affinities, and um, we're going very niche into the business segments and selling the revenue, revenue decline models, or product based solutions, how to gauge more base, how to cross sell, upsell, how to increase the base, engage the base, and stop the churn. Moving on from Uphone, I joined Telenor in 2015, and the main reason to join Telenor was that they had that research-based, function for data science, which was uh, amalgamation of 10 different countries, all data scientists. They used to think together and, uh, you know, produce some sort of research-based analytics, which different business units can then apply according to their own dynamics of the market. So that was time I moved into SaaS enterprise minor, and in 2018, when open source became really a big thing, Python came in the market. It was really exciting. Then Amazon also started producing its microservices for analytics and data lakes. So the thought process changed completely. Things became really faster. The data became really complex. Processing became the need of time. Need in time. You have to have big processing units, GPUs, to process this data, and then not only did the data grew, the people also started understanding the advanced concepts. So the people who are decision makers in the organizations, they started seeing the value in data science. And it's not always a smooth curve. This is what I say when the analytics, when the reality strikes. It's not a smooth curve. It's a sinusoidal thing. You have to start small, and then you have to crack it. You have to sell something, show something that is beyond a simple rule based extraction to something that relates to those algorithms that are considered as magic wands. They do magic in in bringing a value in the organization. So Telenor was all about this contextual marketing, next best recommendation engines, um, very specific units like fraud detection departments, and financial institution data was also, I worked with that. When Telenor Bank, it came in the market, it started off very small with small base, subscriber base, and we sold a few data science use cases to them to grow their base, and this is now they are a separate entity. And it was a good learning experience. It was a good learning experience. So after that, I joined Systems Limited. And in the middle, I also started doing my doctoral at Macquarie University, which is now online because of COVID. So with family, it's now a possibility for me to manage it, you know, remotely. And with COVID, everything has changed. So this has been an opportunity, I would say, in disguise for me to pursue that dream that I always wanted to do from an international university. With System Limited is a whole new paradigm. It's like, when you are in a corporate organization with banks or with telcos or even with retails, the data types are one, and the tools are, that are the tools that are required by the organizations. But with vendor side companies, you have a lot of exposure, different projects, different data sources, different tools, and the learning is beyond what you can have in a corporate organization if you want to stay in analytics. So in systems, the two main projects that I'm working on are robotic process automation. I will talk a bit about it. It's very interesting. And and the second one is uh, extracting advanced insights from patient wearable sensors data. So the whole two domains are really different. and their data are very different. Their conceptual understanding is very different. The automation project that we are working on, it's basically a computer vision project in which you have to automate whatever. When you go in a bank, you start opening your account. What you see is that you have tons of documents that come, you fill in and give it to the agent in the bank. The agent has to go through it and validate everything. So this technology that we are building, it's kind of a tool that will, you know, read all these documents itself, do that validation itself, through computer vision, through image processing, signature matching and stamp detection, and other object detections, entity extraction. So these are those advanced concepts. These are really interesting, and this is what the world has come to, reaching from just queuing 10-dimensional points into going into unstructured data, reading documents in milliseconds. It's an amazing and thing in itself. So that's about me. Do you have any questions, any comments, uh, or I can move ahead? Okay, Mohsen, you have a question?
Mohsin, you can unmute your
अस्सलाम
mic,
वालेकुम।
please.
Walaikum assalam.
जी मैम, मैं ये फर्स्ट टाइम दे रहा हूँ कोई भी वेबिनार डाटा एनालिटिक्स से रिलेटेड। तो
Yes.
मैं इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हूँ।
Okay.
तो लेकिन अब मैंने थोड़ा सा मतलब कि कोर्सेज आउटलाइन ही देखी और मेरा इंटरेस्ट इसमें बना। मैंने एक दो वीडियोस भी देखी यूट्यूब पे, तो मेरा ना इंटरेस्ट बना इस तरफ पे। तो अब मुझे क्या पाथ चूज करना चाहिए? बिल्कुल ही बेसिक से मैं स्टार्ट करना चाहता हूँ अपना, तो इस तरह कोई आइडिया मुझे हो सकता है इस वेबिनार से?
Okay, yes, बिल्कुल हो सकता है. I can also see a few of my previous students over there. So I'm teaching in Zabist as well. I'm teaching the tools and techniques of data science over there. And the people who come in that MS program, they come from diverse backgrounds. They're electrical engineers, they are MBAs, they are software engineers, not pure data scientists. And I also was a computer engineer. Matlab, I was not a computer scientist. I didn't have a BCS degree. I had a BCE degree when I started off. So I think anyone can start working in analytics if it excites you. Um, the way to start is I think Dice is a platform that provides really good courses. Apart from that, you have other online certifications that you can do, and anything. You need to have a whole tool stack understanding right now, because the kind of people that we need in organizations, they first of all, it's a very rigorous interview process in which you need to have a whole understanding of what data science is. So people can start with anything. They can start with conventional machine learning to they can use deep learning. People usually do not just specifically go and ask, okay, you are an NLP expert, go ask NLP questions only. No, everyone wants you to have, they would challenge you here and there with all the nuts and bolts. So the overall understanding of the domain area is very important, theory. And then comes this implementation part, because since when you start, you need to be hands on. So hands on, now there are tools available like Nime, or in organizations, Python is really commonly used, and Amazon Web Services, AWS. It is the whole stack of it, the understanding of it, how to, if you have any data source with you, any file in any format, how would you take it to a place where your code or your tool can interact with it easily. So for that, you need to stream the data, and then you have to have the proper data types associated to it, and then it should be in a data definition form in a database. Um, so all these things in the cloud, maybe. So AWS is one of the starting points that is really interesting, and really it covers the whole concept. But along with that, the understanding of the conceptual understanding is also really important. So for that, um, how you start doing is that you first, the supervised learning, the unsupervised learning, and then when you really grasp it, it's just scratching the surface. You have to move into those advanced topics that people demand now, like deep learning and natural language processing and computer vision. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's how.
Yes, ma'am. One more question, please. What you think that is the most important tools or language for data analytics?
Hmm. Uh, it's it depends on the organization actually. Importance is, if you say कि मैंने भी learn करना है, so you can start with Python and Nime. ठीक है? And then if you go in an organization and you're giving an interview, mostly job description के अंदर they do have those things mentioned कि वो कौन सी technology पे काम करते हैं. Mostly या Azure होता है, AWS होता है nowadays. So these are important, these are mandatory now कि उनकी microservices जो है उनको किस तरह से analytics में use करते हैं. So these three things like Python, any tool, Nime, etc., and any AWS is recommended from my side, because I've seen it working in if you talk about Pakistan, in multiple banks, in multiple places I've seen it working. So people are needed for that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Can you please tell me what is the main difference between data analytics and data analysis?
Okay. अच्छा, कुछ वर्ड्स ऐसे हैं डेटा 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 की डोमेन में which are, they are used, one or the other, right? So analysis is a term which you analyze stuff. You can analyze anything, right? एक आपके पास दो fields होती हैं, like so time based data की बात करती हूँ, weather का data आपके पास आया, so you would analyze it, you would take a sum, average, you would take min, max, standard deviation. So analytics and analysis are almost the same things. They are no different. But analytics को आप analysis को करके data को आप analytics के किसी use case के end point पे पहुंचते हो. सो द यूज केसेस कौन से होते हैं आपके? वही जो आपने एक ऑब्जेक्टिव से स्टार्ट किया होता है कि मैंने एक चीज़ बनानी है, वही मेरा एनालिटिकल एक एक मेरा क्या होगा, एक आर्टिफैक्ट होगा, एंड टू रीच दैट आर्टिफैक्ट यू डू मल्टीपल एनालिसिस. सो जिस तरह वो सिफ्त और मौसूफ की एग्जांपल होती है ना, इट्स काइंड ऑफ दैट. दे आर वन एंड द सेम थिंग.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes. Let's move a bit forward. So next, so I would also like to just a few minutes. I don't know how many females we have in this session, but whatever I'm going to say right now, it's gonna also help other people to see things from a woman's perspective. The main challenges when I was in this domain, and um, when I did my bachelor's, the percentage of females in the class was really like 1% females, out of 100 people, out of 30 people, like um, two, two, three females in my class. And then when I moved to my, my exposure in the industry, um, I was probably the only female for a very long time, especially in UPhone for 6 years. And then when I went for Fulbright scholarship, I had a family. I had my daughter with me, and I had to leave her behind because to pursue something, you have to. I had to choose. In Telenor also, there were role models, but I have seen women grow, in a very different manner, because they are usually uh, like kind of isolated, and struggling to do something, achieve more, and they're trying to balance their family lives as well, because we can't just break all strings and move from our culture, which is the way things are, and we feel happier being bonded with our families, being at home, taking care of kids as well, and trying to be something good in analytics as well. So it's a different, it was not easy to balance. When people ask me this question, how did you manage? Even today, there are females in my teams who come in and they say, how do you manage? Well, you have two daughters, you have family, you have job, you're doing your PhD, and you're trying to maintain a personality as well. So how do you do it? So it's not easy. It's like juggling everything. So salute to all the females who are here as well, who are looking up to doing something. uh, and I would say, for men also, to understand that, um, they are no less in their competency. Females, it's just that in order to balance things, uh, and it's not an excuse always. If they want to leave office at 5 o'clock, and they're taking a leave because their baby is sick, it's not an excuse. It's kind of balancing, uh, the work life balance that we say, which is more tilted, uh, in an aggressive manner towards the female of our society. So that's what I wanted to share. Okay, moving on to some more topics. Okay, so let's talk about some of the myths that people usually uh, face when you as a data scientist would go in an organization, or as a data analytics expert. um, Business people are usually not really aware of what you can and cannot do. What they look at you is somebody who's kind of a magical being who can do anything. You would just move your magic wand, or put your all data in a solution, in a black box, and everything would figure out. All of their problems will be solved. This is not true. And even for a data scientist, when you really go in the market, and just Mohsin said that he wants to shift, you would go with all those advanced algorithms, reinforcement learning, deep learning, and multivariate analysis and stuff. But when you go in an organization, 70% of your time would be consumed in doing uh, all that work that you do not want to do, actually. You would say, okay, I'm a data scientist. I should just have the data ready. I should just put in an algorithm, and I should be just reading those fancy graphs or numbers that came out, or those deciding on a threshold. But what you're actually doing is, cleaning the data, replacing null values, uh, monitoring the daily feeds of data that are coming in, you know, and even if there are fuse in the data, you will be held accountable for it, because you are the data scientist. You should have foreseen it, you know. So, but this is the reality. For a data scientist, you have to start. If you really want to grow in this field, do not um, think of yourself as a less person if you are just cleaning the data, or if you're just importing data, you're just struggling with making a data mart, because this is kind of an input to what you really want to do. And unless you have a framework there, which is according to uh, the needs of the algorithm, you won't be able to move forward. So sometimes it's hard for people to connect. Even for data engineers and data scientists, it's hard to connect. Why do they need data in that form? I have already provided it, those 20 columns. Why do they need those 200 columns? Okay, go make them yourself. So why not? Uh, Preparing that derived analytical data set is almost 70 to 80% of your work, but this is what you will be doing actually in an organization where you will be labeled as a data scientist, but you will be actually pulling in the data. So, second myth we can talk about is, um, they say that data science is kind of a luxury. People say that have data science in an organization when you have everything else in place, and you have extra budget, extra, so you can afford extra resources. This is kind of a myth now, because um, as the organizations are progressing, data is everywhere, right? It doesn't need You need to not have special data scientists with big degrees, and people who ask for a lot of money, who just sit on the side and just look at the things from a very bird eye view. No, they are not a central part of the organization. Even the small business units are keeping one data scientist with them, whose main job is to not only just extract data in a report, but to go into the data and give them more insights about the data, and that is an opportunity in itself. uh, so if even if you don't have a title, which is basically tells you that you are an elite being, you can still contribute. And once people start seeing the value, uh, you would make your place in the organization and grow as well, right? Any questions? Okay, Akib, Anji.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm your student.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, uh, so I've been doing degree since two and a half years. Now it's about to complete, and I have taken online courses and all the things like which will be helpful for my career. But
yeah.
the thing is, uh, I've been job hunting since a year, and uh, it's like they always mention ETL experience and DWH experience. So uh, first we have to first we have to uh, gain an DWH experience, ETL experience. Then we will be a data scientist, or data scientist is itself a machine learning expert, or something like that, AI expert.
Okay.
That's my question.
All right. So, sharing my experience, Akib, I left Telenor in 2019, end of 2019, and I had some plans to go abroad. When I came back, COVID started. So it also took me like 6 months to find the right job. And yes, that the challenge that you're telling me was there as well. And even at this position, when I had this exposure for so many years, the challenge was there to land into the right kind of job which I wanted to do. So yes, expectations are unlimited. When you go for in a corporate organization, they do want you to have ETL data warehouse, but that means that that organization is not the right fit for you, because you just don't do not want to be a part of an organization where you do not have a direction, right? If someone is there who already has a vision of data science or machine learning, they would not expect you to have ETL or data warehouse experience. They would take you as a data scientist, as a machine learning expert, and they would inculcate you. But if they are asking you for more things, then they it means that probably uh, the kind of environment that is over there, or the kind of structure they have, uh, sooner or later a data scientist who was a deep learning or machine learning expert would start feeling stale, or not a right fit. So my recommendation to you is keep on trying, and in the meanwhile, do not if you hear a new technology, why not go and read about it? Why not go and start working on it as well? Why not take just half an hour out every day and work. You are a computer scientist. In the end, you tools shouldn't be something that we should not take. We should not take them as uh, I don't want to do it. No, the approach should be a can-do approach. If they want ETL data warehouse and you really want to be in that organization, then it means that you have to go through that. No one can change that. But there are organizations over here like Teradata and systems, and where I'm working right now, and a lot of software houses. In the last 1 year, I've seen so many software houses in Islamabad, especially, who are looking for machine learning experts. So keep on giving interviews. Go to their website. Sometimes software houses, they do not advertise. They do not go on LinkedIn, but there are key people there in the on the websites. Their HR is there. You can approach them with your resume. And interview itself is an exposure. I have given a lot of interviews, very technical ones. Um, Sometimes it
Yes,
starts now
ma'am.
giving me a nightmare as well, but this is how you learn.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the problem is not having an understanding of that tool. The problem is experience. uh, when you don't get a job, how can you be expert on something? If you know something, yeah, you are right कि हम जो है हम सीख सकते हैं उसको, लेकिन टूल सीखने के बाद हम उसको एज एक्सपीरियंस थोड़ी कंसिडर कर सकते हैं मैम.
नहीं कर सकते. तो then do not feel less confident. You will reach. If you have this drive, sooner or later you will reach into land into a job. Just keep
इंशाल्लाह.
on trying. Just keep on trying.
थैंक यू
That's my
मैम.
yeah. Okay, Seher. Seher Fatma, you have a question?
Furqan Mahmood, you can ask your question, please.
Yes. Furqan, your voice is unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Okay, Sana, we have some questions in the Q&A session as well, if you can look into them as well.
Okay, so who this HA who is this?
HA.
Okay, you can ask if HA whoever this person is, you can ask.
Hi, Sana. This is Hasnan. Actually, I
Okay.
just wanted to join in, so I just wrote the first name, initials.
Yeah, no problem.
My question is regarding the dataset handling and how do we should keep the imagery dataset if we have a stream of images being generated from a live processing environment. There are a lot of tools. There is a lot of technologies around textual data sets. There is
Yes.
Elastic, and then there are CSVs, a lot of them. But if we have to manage imagery data set and not in a textual form like feature representative forms or vectors, like images itself, so what do you think is the best way? Because I have been through the base 64 formats, but they take like 3 times more space than the image itself. So I need your expert opinion about this.
Okay, so for images, it how big is the use case you're talking about? If it's only about
uh,
exploring the
these are
image.
generally, you can say that personal headshots, and the journal file size of per image is around 2 to 5 MB per image.
Mm-hmm.
And the raw format for these images would be like PNGs. So we
Yes,
can actually we can convert it to a lossy format like JPG,
yes,
but the
yes.
raw in stream format is lossless PNG.
I mean, that's why you need those cloud-based solutions. If you talk about our documents that we were, documents are also the bank documents. They also come in image formats, and for every
Mhm,
customer, you have 20, 30 documents, and different shapes and sizes, not only scanned but also picture format and different formats. So
mhm,
we had those cloud-based VMs on which we store those files, and they need to be big hefty machines. But for trial, like as a developer, we put them on the Google Colab um, drives, and we were able to do it decently on our machines, on our laptops, for like 20 to 30 to 40% of the customers. So once it is there, but to have that, to have that processing speed, to have that microsecond, uh,
access and seek time.
execution, yes, you need to have VMs and cloud-based environments.
Mhm. Actually, the organization I'm dealing with, we are actually hosting our services on a cloud, private cloud. But the actual challenge that I daily face with my task is that when we go into testing phase for the
Mm.
algorithms that we
Mm.
develop, actually the testing phase takes so much of a time just because of the seek retrieval every single time in the test run. that it is just like the development is like a meager amount of time against testing. So
Do you have
that,
GPUs?
yes, we have GPUs, but the actual time I'm talking about is the disk access speed for the like million of images. If I'm testing on like 20 million of data, so GPUs are there for processing, but the actual time that I'm struggling with is the storage in such a format that it can be seeked in a millisecond or something like that.
Hmm. I mean, I would have to look at your probably. I'm not the I haven't really processed this much of the data because the use cases that we are talking about in a production in real time environment, one person's 20-30 images come in. But even if you talk about a single video, it has those instances stored in which you try to detect objects. So maybe you have to uh, the you have to optimize your testing whole stream of the
Mhm.
process that you're getting the maybe in a batch, maybe you can get those images, maybe you can have their only that part extracted that is really important for the algorithm. uh, so
Right.
this is how probably it's not the fault of a hardware. Probably it's
Mhm.
basically how you multi-thread, how you multitask. Uh, Maybe it's that.
I see. Okay, I understand the point. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Sufia Tahir. Okay, no, okay. Okay, so let me look at that question answer session. Okay, so should I go one by one on the questions, Homa?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first question is from Abdul Rashid. It says that how we are using data for HR. So it's a very open-ended question. When you talk about HR, first you need to see what snapshots of HR data you have. So HR data is usually not real time. The human resource data has snapshots. So like after a quarter, some appraisal happened, or after a quarter, some feedback session happened, or after a month, some feedback from employees is taken. It's not daily basis, it's not hourly basis. It's the time shots. So it depends on what kind of use cases. So for HR, there are multiple use cases. Human resource analytics, where you can use it to see which employees are dissatisfied. So me leading to probably churn. Which employees are, they need a promotion or they need some diversity in their projects or in their career, you know or human resource, anything to do with who needs a training, who needs more. There are certain projects, there are certain HR, human resource. So what are the clusters that you can make of teams over there? So these are the things that HR can do. You can do in HR analytics. um, does that answer your question? If you have any other, you can write it down if you want to. Okay, the second one is network engineer Furkan. I think we had a discussion with you. So, but I'll still rephrase this question. I am network engineer professional. Which course is best for entry in data science offered by Dice Analytics? Um, Huma can share this portfolio with you as well if you want. Huma, Dice Analytics courses. They do have the data science. Yeah.
We do have two entry level courses, data warehouse and business intelligence, and data science and machine learning. So you can look the course outline on our website as well.
Yes. And I think it is highly recommended from me as well, because these are the people who are conducting, these are people from industry. They have seen those practices, so they can be the right people for you to really be a part of analytics community. Okay, what do you think is the best tool to mine and manage imagery data sets? Um, I myself has worked on Python OpenCV. So that is what I would recommend to use because it has all those generic functions which you really want to see, and then you can uh, OpenCV's advanced versions. If you search for it on other deep learning tools that use OpenCV and then use transfer learning, you can also use that. But Python and OpenCV, you should start with that. Okay, what are the differences in the types of tools used for data analytics in banks compared and companies like systems? Okay, so who operate in tech info-based industries. So the question is the types of tools used in corporate industries and the types of tools used in vendor side companies who are basically serving clients, technology clients, right? So answer to this is it depends. Yeah. So mostly proprietary tools like SAS, SPSS, IBM and Teradata tools are used in Pakistan, Islamabad specifically. Um, even Oracle is being Oracle kind of tools and its साथ में उसके जो होते हैं IBM का tools, Unica के tools होते हैं, they can be used. Um, so it depends upon the industries actually, and it depends upon what the whole tool stack they have. I mean, in Telenor, we had Teradata, and then after a while, recently they had the whole tool stack of SaaS in place for real-time decision making and campaign management. Um, and in systems kind of companies, you have to be tool invariant. You have to have that urge to learn. I mean, in last 2 months, I have worked on and seen them working like tools like NiFi and then things that we do in Hive, and then Redshift working, and then in the banking projects, we were working on Python open source, which we had to translate into. Um, we were using it in Google Colab and stuff. So this is the kind of infrastructure. So AWS is important. It is basically for system kind of companies. You need to have understanding of that tool stack and uh, need to have those certifications with you to really jump onto things and be there when you're needed. And even on client side application, on client side things, what I see is that machine learning is there, yes, data science is there, yes. If you have to plug and play your module into that stream of tools that the client already has, that is what you need to figure out. So you need to be a really kind of upbeat solution architect kind of hat you need to have on your head and say that, okay, this kind of module that I have developed in Java or in Python or in R, this will plug in into your stream like this. So this end-to-end flow that you need to really read about and be familiar with. Okay, we have another question. I'm a business consulting. I don't have programming skills, but I would like to pursue my career in data science. So again, this I have answered. You can start with the courses from DICE. You can start with other courses, online courses. Take a certification that walks you through conventional machine learning, exploration of data, pre-processing of data, and then takes you into one advanced field, maybe computer vision, maybe NLP. And then when you have this whole ecosystem, you need to see how AWS or how Azure or how Google is using all this knowledge in microservices. So you need to know how to use those things. This is how you can go. Now you do not need programming skills. You can have you can work on NIME. There are other tools, even in SAS, in IBM tools, SPSS, in SAP Infinite Insights, that is KXGN's version. You have drag and drop interfaces. So you drag and drop nodes. You need to know what every node, the properties of the nodes are. So just you need to set them. So let's say you know decision tree. You don't want to write it in Python or R or anything like that. But you want to know, you want to have like 2 nodes decision tree or 10 nodes decision tree. You just need to drag and drop and then plug the whole, it's kind of a workflow you have in place, and then it starts working. So tools are enough. You need to have the business knowledge, you need to have the data, the domain knowledge, and then you need to have certain tool like Nime or Nime. I would recommend. It's a very good tool. Is coding involved in data? Not really. Coding is, when you say coding now, it's different from writing an SQL. It's different from, even Python code is not really a coding. Python code, you have built-in libraries. You need to input the sources. You need to know which libraries do what. So simple modeling is just a 4-line, 5-liner code, but you need to know which library to use for which purpose. So you don't really need to know coding, but coding, if you know some codings, like you know how to explain things in C sharp or C++ or Java, it's a plus. What do you think is the best tool to mine and manage? Ye ho gaya. I'm a fresher in data science, so can you suggest how should I start my career? I've already talked about it. Guide how to apply big data and machine learning tools in economics, as the data generally is not high dimensional. Um, okay, so economic indicators. So let's say we have to figure out the economic indicators in Pakistan, and um, for that, yes, you're right. You don't have a very high dimensional data. So just sharing with you something that the data I'm working on in my project at Macquarie University. It's a PhD level project, but it started with only 23 data points. So for a year, I worked only on those 23 data points. I think that and it's this project is basically embodied conversational agents, and designing their dialogue sets through psychology using the concepts of psychology. So I am relating a subject area to data science. That's what you are also trying to do. You are trying to relate economics, which is a separate field, and trying to extract insights out of it or build analytics on top of it. So you do not need a lot of data points for that. It's also one of the myths that says that, okay, if you have a lot of data, then you can do data science. No, you can only start with a few data points that make sense. Okay. And then we have how to learn application of these tools quickly and efficiently. I mean, it depends on you. Every person is different. Some people can learn a tool in a day, some people can take a week. It depends on how many things you really apply on it. Uh, looking at a YouTube video, understanding the tool is one thing, and being hands-on is another thing. And third level is being in an industry and really applying things, as Akib talked about. So there's no, I can't, we cannot define a time limit to it, but it depends on a person. It depends on the person's ability and the kind of atmosphere you have. Okay. Question is systems providing internship program for students in data science? Internships, of course, interns, we do have interns, and reach me if you want to on LinkedIn. I would see if I can do anything about it. Not promising anything, but do drop a message. Is it sufficient to get a short course for data science instead of MS degree? Yes. You do not need an MS degree. MS degree के बारे में लोग people have a false understanding that it will tell them about data science. It will teach them industry level data science. No, MS degree का एक concept होता है. MS degree is something that leads you to PhD. So it is a research based program. Even they let you work on research papers. They want you to produce some research based final artifact. So industry is different from it. Even in Zabist, hands-on courses are very less. You are up to your, it's on your own. It's on your own learning to learn anything. So the technical side of thing that you get from the certifications or from the training of those tools. So it's the MS degree doesn't provide you that. It does give you all the concepts, but at the end, the main concept of an MS degree is to lead you to PhD for data science specifically. Okay. Data science, Dice would like, the comment came, Huma, someone wants to answer that?
I'm sorry, where?
No, it's fine. Okay, what do you think is the best tool? What topics or courses a beginner should know about data science? हो गया. Hi, I'm working in a software house as a SEO. How can I start my career in data science? I think it's the same for everyone. You need to know the basic concepts first, and then you need to know the tools that you can use it. You need to know those. So Dice Analytics would like to answer this question live. This is the kind of comment I'm okay. So that's all. That's the answer to it. Um, any more comments from people? I think for the tool I've talked about OpenCV and in Python, but Dice can also recommend a tool for imagery data sets if you have some knowledge, more knowledge into it. Maybe you can drop an email, this anonymous attendee, contact me on LinkedIn or something. We can talk about it. Okay, so that's it from my side. Any other questions? I think the future of analytics is more about microservices and how to integrate things into the live stream of already built tools. There's so many in the market, and um, knowing what tool to use, where to place the data, and how to provide the outputs to the right front ends using APIs and stuff. This is also becoming important uh, apart from in the data science domain. Okay, there's a question that came in that what is the difference between data analytics and NLP? So data analytics is more about, NLP is an advanced domain of data science. It's natural language processing. It basically, yes, it also analyzes data, but it's a special domain, like it works on natural languages. So you have those things coming in text, like coming in books, or you have data coming in the form of some statements, bank statements, anything in natural language, which is not structured in a form of rows and columns. That is NLP. And data analytics is again, it's the highest umbrella, it's a highest point. And when you divide it, after data analytics comes data science and pure data analytics, where you have only dashboards and um, reports, visualizations. And then from data science, you move into NLP and computer vision and deep learning. So that's what it is. Okay, Huma, it's done from my side.
All right, thank you so much, Sana, for such a great session. We all enjoyed very much. Thank you to all the participants who have joined in. I am leaving an email in the chat section. Please, if you have any queries, do email us. We'll reply you there. Recording session would be provided as well on our Facebook page. All right, that's about it from my side as well. Thank you so much, Sana.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being there.